the haunted doll. I never believed in the supernatural until the doll entered our lives. It was a gift for my daughter's birthday, an innocent-looking toy with porcelain skin and glassy eyes that seemed to follow you wherever you went. At first, I dismissed it as a mere trinket, a plaything for a child's imagination. Little did I know, it would become the harbinger of terror that would haunt our home. It started small, subtle movements that could easily be attributed to gravity or the wind, a shift in position here, a tilt of the head there. I brushed off my wife's concerns, chalking it up to her overactive imagination. But as the days turned into weeks, and the doll's movements grew more pronounced, I could no longer deny the truth staring me in the face. One night, as I lay in bed, drifting on the edge of sleep, I heard a faint rustling from the corner of the room. My eyes snapped open, heart pounding in my chest, as I searched the darkness for the source of the sound. And there it was, the doll, perched at the foot of the bed, its eyes gleaming in the dim moonlight. I froze, paralyzed with fear, as I watched the doll's porcelain fingers wrap around the handle of a pair of scissors that lay nearby. It lifted the blades with an eerie precision, its movements fluid and deliberate, as if guided by an unseen force. My mind screamed for me to move, to flee from the room and never look back, but my body remained rooted to the spot, held captive by the doll's gaze. As the doll drew closer, its eyes seemed to bore into mine, filling me with a sense of dread unlike anything I had ever known. And then, with a sudden burst of movement, it lunged forward, the scissors glinting in the darkness as they sliced through the air. I closed my eyes, bracing for the impact, but it never came. When I dared to open them again, the doll was gone, leaving behind nothing but an empty room and the echoes of my own terrified heartbeat. But I knew, deep down, that this was only the beginning of a nightmare that would consume us all. My daughter, oblivious to the danger that lurked in her own bedroom, continued to play with the doll as if nothing had happened. It pained me to see her so carefree, ignorant of the terror that lurked just beneath the surface. But I couldn't bring myself to take the doll away, to shatter her innocence with the harsh truth of our reality. As the days passed, the doll's movements grew more frequent, more brazen. It seemed to delight in tormenting us, appearing in unexpected places, a chair in the living room, a shelf in the kitchen, each time with a different object in its grasp. And always, those glassy eyes watched us, mocking our fear with their silent gaze. I reached out to experts in the field of the paranormal, desperate for guidance in navigating the nightmare that had become our lives. But their responses were vague, filled with cryptic warnings of dark forces at play and the importance of confronting our deepest fears. It was as if they knew more than they were letting on, as if they were holding the key to unlocking the truth. One night, as I sat alone in the darkness, the doll appeared before me once more, its porcelain face twisted into a grotesque grin. "You cannot escape," it whispered, its voice a hollow echo in the silence. "I am everywhere, and nowhere. I am your worst nightmare, made flesh." With a surge of courage born of desperation, I reached out and seized the doll in my hands, ignoring the fear I had at its touch. "What do you want from us?" I demanded, my voice trembling with fear. The doll's eyes bore into mine, their gaze unyielding. "Revenge," it hissed, its voice filled with malice. "For a sin long forgotten, a debt that must be repaid. And until that debt is settled, none of you are safe." With the doll's chilling words echoing in my mind, I knew that our only hope lay in confronting the darkness that had taken hold of our lives. But to do so meant delving into the depths of a nightmare from which there might be no return. I gathered what little courage I had left and embarked on a journey into the unknown, determined to unravel the mystery that had plagued us for so long. With each step, the air grew heavier, thick with the oppressive weight of unseen forces that lurked in the shadows. At last, I reached the heart of the darkness, a forgotten corner of our home, shrouded in darkness and filled with the whispers of lost souls. There, amidst the debris of forgotten memories, I found the key to unlocking the truth, a journal, its pages yellowed with age, filled with the ramblings of a madman. As I pored over the journal's cryptic passages, a sense of dread washed over me, filling me with a primal fear unlike anything I had ever known. It spoke of rituals and sacrifices, of deals struck with entities beyond human comprehension, and of a curse that had been unleashed upon an unsuspecting world. I turned the final page, and there, in the fading light of a dying candle, I found the answer I had been searching for, the origin of the doll's malevolent spirit, the reason for its relentless pursuit of vengeance. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I confronted the doll once more, its eyes blazing with fury as I held the journal aloft. "I know what you are," I declared, my voice steady despite the fear that threatened to consume me. "And I know how to stop you." But the doll only laughed, a sound that chilled me to the bone. "You cannot stop what has already begun," it taunted, its voice echoing through the dark room. "The curse is eternal, its power beyond your comprehension. You are but a pawn in a game that has been playing out for centuries." With a surge of determination, I raised the journal high above my head and recited the incantation inscribed upon its pages, each word a prayer for deliverance from the nightmare that had consumed us. And as the final syllable left my lips, a blinding light filled the room, banishing the darkness and the doll alike. But as I stood amidst the ruins of our shattered home, I knew that the nightmare was far from over, that the darkness that had taken hold of our lives would haunt us for all eternity. Story 2. The Haunting Lullaby. I never imagined that the peaceful lullabies of my grandmother would become the source of my deepest fears. It all began after her passing, when the nights took on a haunting quality, and the gentle melodies of her voice seemed to linger in the air long after she was gone. At first, I found solace in the familiar tunes, a bittersweet reminder of the love she had bestowed upon me throughout my childhood. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the lullabies took on a sinister tone, filling me with a sense of dread that I couldn't shake. Every night, as I lay in bed, I would hear her voice drifting through the darkness, soft and melodic, like a siren's call drawing me ever closer to the edge of madness. I would rush to the window, heart pounding in my chest, only to find the empty expanse of the night sky staring back at me, devoid of any trace of my grandmother's presence. But still, the lullabies persisted, growing louder and more insistent with each passing night. They followed me wherever I went, echoing through the halls of my home like a relentless specter, haunting me even in my waking hours. And always, there was the rocking chair, swaying gently in the breeze, its creaking rhythm a constant reminder of the presence that lurked just beyond the shadows. I tried to rationalize away the phenomenon, attributing it to grief or stress-induced hallucinations. But deep down, I knew that there was something more sinister at play, that my grandmother's spirit had returned from beyond the grave to torment me with her haunting melodies. As the nights wore on, the lullabies grew louder, their haunting refrain filling every corner of my mind until I could no longer distinguish between reality and nightmare. And as I stood before the window one fateful night, gazing out into the darkness, I felt a presence behind me, a chill creeping up my spine that told me I was no longer alone. As I stood frozen before the window, a sense of dread washed over me, chilling me to the core. I could feel the weight of someone's gaze upon me, a presence that lingered just beyond the threshold of my awareness. I turned slowly, expecting to come face to face with the specter of my grandmother. But there was nothing there, save for the empty darkness of the room behind me. I scanned the shadows, heart racing in my chest, but there was no sign of the intruder who had invaded my home. And yet, the feeling of being watched persisted, a silent reminder of the unseen forces that lurked in the night. I ventured further into the room, searching for any sign of the ghostly presence that had made itself known to me. But the room remained eerily silent, the only sound the soft creaking of the rocking chair as it swayed gently in the breeze. As I approached the chair, I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. I reached out and touched the worn fabric of the seat, half expecting to feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand. But there was nothing there, only the faint impression of my grandmother's scent, a lingering reminder of the love she had bestowed upon me throughout my life. And yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that her ghost, or some force out of this realm, was watching over me. In the days that followed, I became consumed by the force that had ensnared my grandmother's spirit, twisting it into a malevolent entity that haunted my every dream. Each night, as I drifted into sleep, I could feel its icy grip tightening around me, pulling me into a nightmare realm where darkness reigned supreme. In these twisted dreams, I was confronted by visions of my grandmother, her once gentle voice now twisted into a haunting melody. She beckoned to me from the shadows, her eyes gleaming with an otherworldly malice. With each passing night, the dreams grew more vivid, more terrifying, until I feared closing my eyes for even a moment, lest I be dragged once more into the depths of the nightmare. And always, there was the sense that something else lurked just beyond the shadows, a malevolent force that sought to claim me for its own. The dreams began to bleed into my waking hours, filling me with a sense of dread that I couldn't shake. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, whispers echoed through the halls of my home, and I could feel the evil force drawing closer with each passing moment. Desperate for answers, I delved deeper into the darkness, searching for any clue that might help me break free from the nightmare that had consumed me. But the answers remained elusive, hidden behind layers of fear and uncertainty. And as I stood before the window one final time, watching as the sun set on another day, I knew that the nightmare was far from over, that the malevolent force that had claimed my grandmother's spirit would stop at nothing to claim me as its next victim. The end. Subscribe for more. Thank you.